Welcome back to Kombi Life in the tiniest of tiny vehicles. I've been road tripping vintage Volkswagen since I first bought one in Chile and drove all the way to Arctic Alaska. And with this one I was intending to drive to Australia, made it as far as Africa before the pandemic hit. It has been one heck of an adventure, and as we've been documenting our travel series in this vintage Volkswagen, we've been trying to meet up with our patrons and Kombi Crew members all around the map wherever possible. Today we've invited Kombi Crew member Chris and his son Finn to join us and ask us anything he liked. So put your feet up, put the kettle on and join us for a wide-ranging conversation where we discuss all sorts of things about tiny living, what it's like to road trip in a classic vehicle.
You're just about to go on a trip. What are your real essentials? If there's one thing that you wanted to change now, what would it be?
And
Tamara's been living here. Wow, give us some of her initial complaints.
we have got a lot to discuss and some great banter coming up, but first of all, I have not been sleeping well, and if sometimes you suffer from that problem too, you might want to consider Beam Dream. On the face of it, Beam Dream is a delicious cup of healthy, hot, velvety cocoa with a hint of cinnamon. But when you look closer, Dream is a blend of 5 natural ingredients, and there is a reason why Beam claimed that Dream has clinically shown to help 93% of participants get a more restful night's sleep and wake up feeling refreshed. It's a first of its kind, science-backed, and has all natural ingredients to support your body through all 4 stages of sleep. Nano hemp to ease your body and mind into rest mode. L-theanine helps your body transition into deep sleep. And reishi and melatonin to help impact your REM sleep quality. I take it about half an hour to 45 minutes before I'm ready for sleep. It smells better than cocoa, it tastes better than cocoa, it's delicious, it's impactful, and it's available in a bunch of different flavors. I particularly like the chocolate and peanut butter one. Ooh, that's this one. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. This is banging. Banging! Sleep is so important, and Beam Dream helps you fall asleep and stay asleep, and importantly, not wake up groggy. So set yourself up to be the best version of yourself in 2025 and get yourself 35% off Beam Dream. The link is below, or you can use the QR code on the screen, and don't forget to use the code KOMBI at checkout for that discount. Thanks to Beam, and thanks to you guys. Tamara's gonna want this. Woo! Yummy, yummy. Howdy Kombi Crew, welcome to Jersey. It's a little bit windy. I'm going to step inside the Kombi with Finn and Chris.
Hello.
Kombi Crew members. We're going to sit down today and have a bit of a chat about, I don't know what we're chatting about, but Kombi Life stuff.
Yeah,
Kombi stuff.
Kombi Life.
Yeah.
Boomerang.
Yeah, we thought it'd be a good idea to get together and have a bit of a chat on this beautiful headland, which I often like to film at. Camera rolling, sound speeding. Hair and makeup. You know that I like to film because Chris is also from Jersey, so he knows that every place I go, he knows, like, I know where that was.
Yeah, I do, unfortunately.
Chris also lent me the electric skateboard, which was in one video one time for Earth Day. Thanks for that.
No problem at all.
Love that thing.
No. Okay, well, I thought we'd take you back to Boomerang, the start of Boomerang, and how you made it, really.
It was a bit of a long shot because we drove all the way from the bottom of America to up to Canada looking for a van. Sure that we would find one because there was a field of like 30 vans up in Canada that we knew of, and then suddenly got wind of a high top that we were looking for. It was down in Arizona, so that was a bit of a pain to drive all the way across America and back again. But yeah. Still, it's an adventure. I like a road trip. And yeah, no, Bill hooked us up with a pretty decent price on the van. It wasn't rusty. It was the one we decided to go with. For better or worse, here we are.
Excuse me, I just wrote a couple of notes. I'll just remember, because there's so much to talk about with Kombi Crew. You cover so many things.
Yeah.
Adventure travel, driving with a classic, everything else.
Speaking of classics, Chris, I noticed that you've turned up in your...
well, I thought I had to support the air-cooled crew.
Okay. This thing's air cooled too, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, beautiful. I see Chris driving around sometimes. You can always spot him. It's nice when, like, whenever you see me on the road,
well,
you're like, there he goes.
There he goes. And yeah, the only trouble with that is that everybody knows which cafe you're at, and they send you a text going, "Are you having a nice coffee?" Really?
Everyone knows everyone.
It's one of those things. Okay, Ben, couple of quick questions.
Yeah.
Easy ones.
Let's go.
Okay, fuel capacity.
I think about 50 litres, but I don't trust the fuel gauge, so I fill up at about 40.
So range.
Downhill,
I mean, you've got it pretty loaded up.
about 200 miles
Right.
downhill with the wind behind us.
Okay.
It's not very good.
All right.
And don't ask me
okay.
how much. Are you going to ask me how much?
No, I'll
bad,
say
it's so
that. Cruising speed.
Cruising speed, 50 miles an hour.
Height inside.
About 3 inches too short.
How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot, so it's 5'10".
So on rainy days, your neck gets a bit of a crick.
I'm lying down, yeah. Basically.
How about Tamara? She's got plenty of space?
Yeah, she's doing jumper jacks in here. Loves it.
Great news. Great
Yeah.
news. Your tyres.
Michelin roadie tyres, not the off-road bobbly ones, which look nice but are too noisy.
Yeah. Probably improves your fuel capacity a little bit.
Yeah, the Kombi chews up tyres, so yeah.
No, I mean, we're all invested in this Kombi. We watch it, we nurture it on your behalf, and you know, it forms a principal part of the story.
He's certainly a character.
What it's interesting today is looking at it now. It looks beautiful. It looks clean.
It's because we're about to go on a trip.
Yeah, but this was a shell.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Had a lot more room in it before I put a camper van in here.
Okay, so you've done all the cupboarding.
Yep.
You've done all the water systems.
Yeah.
You've got a dream electrical system.
Yeah, more than enough.
What are you proud of? Proudest?
Most proud of? I think the woodwork's nice. I think like the look of it.
I think we're all admiring it, aren't
Yeah,
we?
we are.
We are admiring.
For sure.
Yeah, for the most part, I think it's hard to say on the camera, but you know, there's lots of things that are, you know, if you look at close up, the detail, like, you know, everything is kind of quite nice.
It's beautiful.
And I mean, this piece of wood here took me all day to make. I got a bit carried away with making the
But
wood.
it's definitely worthwhile your time.
I spend a lot of time in here, Finn, so like, you know, I was thinking, well, if I'm going to be lying in here every day for, you know, thousands of days, then I should probably enjoy looking around.
Buy a camper van that is already converted. That's my tip for you for today.
Now you mentioned you're going on a long trip and it's all tidy.
Yeah.
And part of the fun of it is, are you going to make it? You know, what's the next drama that's going to unfold?
Unfortunately, that is kind of the theme on my channel.
It's a bit of a
better or worse.
A mechanical member of the family. For all of us, give us one of your memorable breakdowns.
God, there's so many.
I'm going to help you here, okay? How do you manage to break a screwdriver in the engine in France?
Yeah.
Okay, let's focus on that one, because that was relatively recent.
That is like a major issue. Engine's currently propped up on logs, hanging out the back of the van.
That probably was one of the most memorable ones, actually. It's one I was just thinking of because, I mean, especially as I was like taking my brother away, as like kind of on this mentor thing, like showing him what van life was about and how free and amazing it could be. And then basically we spent the whole weekend in a car park with the engine apart. So it kind of backfired.
I mean, what were we doing in the first place with a screwdriver in the engine?
I was checking to see that the timing was okay. I got a bit lost, to be honest with you. Like you take the spark plug out, you put a screwdriver in the spark plug hole, and then you turn the engine, and then usually the screwdriver gets pushed out as the piston comes up. So like the screwdriver goes out like that, but I had it on a slight angle, and it came up and just went ka-tink and snapped off. And then,
However, that particular episode,
it's a good one. That one, wasn't
I
it?
seem to remember.
That was a good episode.
You really tested your brother. Yeah, you know, didn't you have the engine on a bench?
Yeah.
And didn't you have to support the whole Kombi on a sort of log, whatever system it was?
Yeah, we had the engine resting on logs and used logs to jack up the Kombi. Do you know what? My brother was just talking about this the other night, and he said it's still one of his his favourite memories and one of his most proud moments that we managed to do that. So
well,
yeah, I think it was it was good in the end.
Come on, man! Come on!
If you want to give someone an introduction to Kombi Life, like not all the glorious bits, you did that, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
In that vein, talk us through your toolkit. I mean,
The toolkit, do you know what?
You're going through a 50-year-old van. Talk us through a little
I-
bit through your toolkit.
Coming here to meet you today, I broke like the golden rule number 1 of Kombi Life. I drove without the toolkit. I never ever leave home without the toolkit because like you just don't know, especially as I've just been doing loads of mechanical stuff. I could have needed to fix something, the wheel might have fallen off on the road, it's happened. So yeah, no, I have an extensive toolkit of everything you could possibly need to do almost every single job.
I bet it weighs quite a bit.
It is heavy, yeah. Yeah, the idea originally when I first built the van was that I was going to put the toolkit in like the box, the swing out box on the back of the van over there. But unfortunately, it has never once left the footwell. So it just lives in the footwell.
I just want to take you back to one question I forgot about. What are you most proud of in the whole kit?
Electrical system is, I always talk about that because it is really good. But then they've got those power stations and everything now, so it's a lot easier.
Can you plug this into any electrical supply around the world?
Yeah.
It's just a question of getting an adapter because it's so it's so good.
Yeah.
And you just figured out what you needed.
Yeah, it was a bit of a learning curve, but it's a fun project, you know. I think that for me, like doing the van build and doing the research and all of the excitement of like planning it, and it's a big part of it. So.
Well, I think that's one of the attractions. You've got keeping a classic running, you've got adventure travel, you've got the relationship side of things. It's kind of all encompassing. Talk about the VW culture. You're a bit of a champion of keeping a Kombi going and a very public champion.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Somehow, yeah.
Yeah, the concept. I mean, the title Kombi Crew. It's a great concept. When you've been on the road, the VW community, can you kind of think of a memorable time they've really helped you out? You know,
so many,
the solidarity.
so many times. Yeah, so many times. There's just everywhere I've gone, there's been Volkswagen people that have kind of been there to help. Especially driving through America, anytime I broke down on the side of the road, somebody would pull out, literally within like 15 minutes, someone was pulled over behind me saying, "How you doing?" And then, you know, a couple of minutes would pass and they'd be like, "I've got one of these, I've got a Beetle, I used to have a Beetle, I used to have a bus." Like there's some kind of relation to it, you know, and people are just really good.
To you.
Yeah. I think everybody knows that struggle.
It breaks the ice.
Yeah.
It breaks the ice. I sometimes get it with my 2CV on the continent. I used to have one of these. This is my, you know, can I help you? It's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I've got a question for you.
Go on.
So the last 2 months I've been filming a video about all the things that needed fixing and needed maintenance or redesigning in the Kombi, and half of them I think have been like kind of modern camper van upgrades, and the other half have been old Volkswagen breakdown maintenance stuff. You've got a lovely van yourself, which is not here today, but trust me, it's lovely.
I'm very lucky. Lucky.
Is it work? Do you find things are breaking? It's quite new, isn't it? So
it's quite new. I was very lucky. I got an inheritance.
Very fortunate.
Yeah, very fortunate. Finley and I have just been to Switzerland and it hasn't broken down yet. However, it's a 3-litre Sprinter, and you talk about the volume of fuel for this thing. You know, it's quite thirsty. When I got it, I wasn't quite counting on diesel going as high up as it did, but it's been an absolute pleasure. The only thing is, a bit like this, it's American, and I've compromised on some of the things that are American. The plumbing's all American, and when it was made, they scrimped on a couple of things. I have had to do some repairs to the plumbing, and it was brand new because it was a present.
And due to inflation and all that, and Switzerland's high prices.
Fuel was Swiss fuel prices. Yeah, they were quite interesting.
Yeah, there's a reason I keep going around Switzerland.
Yeah, well, I put a long-range fuel tank in to solve it.
Really?
Yeah, it's got 150 litres, so I tend to fill up wherever I can get a supermarket.
That's like
cheapest.
3 Kombi tanks.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I figured that a newer modern van would be less work, but there's some neighbours next to me that have also got a big RV, and it's pretty modern, and they say that they're still having to fix things, you know.
You know, everything's on a budget. They're out to make their profit, and if you If you work something hard, sometimes it breaks, as you know.
Just want to give a shout out to all of the Kombi Crew members, the people that help make our video series possible. Honestly, we wouldn't be able to do it without you. I know we say that all the time, but literally it's the truth. We are currently gearing up to produce a second season, which is going to be incredible. We make this series for you guys watching at home, and if it wasn't for those people in the Kombi Crew that are supporting our content, we wouldn't be able to do that. So thanks so much. Please do join the Kombi Crew. It's linked below. Thank you so much for subscribing to Kombi Life, watching the videos, and to the Kombi Crew. Seriously, massive high five.
Your engine capacity.
1.8 litres, so it's 1800 cc,
Okay.
something like that.
Well, it's American tuned and made. You've got remote diagnostics on that, haven't you?
Yeah, do you know what? They're still pretty good to me.
Yeah.
They're not technically really sponsoring me anymore. They gave me the engine. They said, we'll support you for a bit. But
Yeah.
whenever I call, they're like, yeah, we can, whatever we can do to help. Not that I have to call them very often. They're pretty good.
You're probably a bit of a mascot for them. Yeah, the Kombi's still going.
Genuinely, I don't know whether they realise how many people have been positively influenced and wanting to get one of those engines. I honestly think they don't know, but lots of people have. So it's good. I'm happy for them.
How's the engine reacted to damp weather?
Engine pretty good. Not needed much retuning, but the rust. Like Jersey's not a good environment for keeping a vehicle. It is a problem, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. Mine's a little tin machine that if you don't do anti-rust stuff all the time, it'll disintegrate. Talk about old factors. You've replaced things like the LED lights that probably help you in a practical way on the road. What are the modern accessories that have helped you along the way that you were able to do a direct replacement?
It's hard to say because I guess the camper van part of it is all pretty modern. I mean, that fridge is like a Dometic fridge. It's not one of the old original camper van things. So the fridge, the petrol heater, much safer, much better, much more reliable. Works 9 times out of 10, which is good. Yeah, I think all of the kind of camper van components are more modern and mostly they're reliable. Although, yeah, saying that, did have to just fix the fridge and the cooker and the water system.
Your steering rack was just age, was it, historically?
No, that was an aftermarket part.
Oh, right.
I'd replaced it 2 years ago and it just, yeah.
It just went. Suspension. Obviously, you've loaded it up.
Yeah, it's too heavy.
And you live in it
It's
with
too
2
heavy.
people.
It's at its legal maximum capacity. The suspension is hanging on by a thread, and I think it still works. I had to do a shock test as like part of my maintenance the other day, and I was like, bounce it, and it just goes ba-doing, ba-doing, ba-doing. I was like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Just won't go around the corners too fast.
I mean, as I've mentioned before, you get a huge amount of unspoken respect keeping the classic Kombi running. You've been all over the world in 2-wheel drive. How's it coped?
The Kombi's great because it's all the weight's in the rear, the engine's in the rear, it's rear wheel drive, so like it handles almost everything apart from a big pile of manure in the middle of the night in France. That's literally the first episode with Tamara. She jumps in the van, we go off through France and then get stuck in a big pile of shit. Yeah, it's a good introduction to van life.
Excellent, excellent. You are publicly probably the most experienced. We've all learnt your pitfalls and learnings of the mechanical side. You got any tips for someone who has a Kombi as to how to upkeep it?
First trip through South America was all kind of like trial by fire, firefighting, trying to fix things on the road, and that felt like I was fixing things every day. Now I have like a maintenance interval. I'm like every 3,000, 6,000, 9,000, 12,000, 15,000, 30,000, 50,000 miles. This is what I'm doing, and that means that I'm mainly only doing the work when I choose to do it, not on the side of the road. That said, there's still at least once every 3,000 miles an unexpected repair, which isn't really very good return, is it? Every 3,000 miles, I'm breaking down somewhere.
Well, is there something you keep an eye on? You have a kind of nervous twitch about?
That's a good question. Yes, everything.
Okay.
There's a lot, to be honest with you.
Oil leaks? How any of those?
It's leaking oil, yeah.
Does it get hot? I mean,
No,
can you anticipate it overheating?
No, it never gets hot. It's been designed not to get hot.
So if anything, the brakes get hot.
Yeah, they're not even getting hot because they're not working at the moment. I'm going to have to fix that later on. Got a boat in 2 days.
Righto, okay, all right, okay. I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on to some, to just the space. Just the space. I mean...
This space. If I swing my arm, like on this wide lens, look how much space we've got. It's huge in here.
I think it looks
I mean, Ben, I don't want to get personal, but you're not small.
Thanks.
No, I mean, you're tall.
But you can say to these guys, like, because you guys are here,
Yeah.
it's not as big as it looks
I
on the
think-
camera. Is it?
No.
The lens makes it look a bit.
Yeah,
Why?
definitely.
Well, I remember meeting you about a year ago, and with you in it, it was like, wow, it looks a lot bigger. I'm telling you, it's quite petite.
Yeah.
What do they go? Bijou.
It's compact.
In that vein, what are your essentials in here when you go? Because you're just about to go on a trip. What are your real essentials?
This cupboard's full of Volkswagen parts. They're all essential. That half of that cupboard up there, that half inside there is all full of Volkswagen parts. This half is full of...
It is limited for space, right on cue.
This half is all full of, like, I don't know, like fun stuff basically. And then there's like personal cupboard, like toiletries and things. And then that's the secret cupboard that no one's ever allowed to know about, but you guys are allowed to know about. But that's all like camera equipment and stuff, which is why I've got these locks on here. That's where,
So no one steals.
yeah, that's where I lock everything away, the camera stuff. So the camera gear and the work stuff is essential, that cupboard up there. And then a certain amount of fun stuff, you know, some either a surfboard or some snorkels or spearfishing stuff or compact fun things, so we can enjoy ourselves.
Maybe this isn't the right question to ask you just on a trip, okay?
Go on, I'm curious.
But if there's one thing that you wanted to change now, what would it be? Inside, from a living point of view.
the roof space, this up here,
The crick in your neck.
yeah, honestly it does make a difference. It's annoying. It's what bothers me the most. I don't care about the toilet, the lack of toilet or whatever. We've been making extra improvements as we go, but we're getting to the limit of what we can actually improve. We thought about bringing a trailer, you know, to put some more fun stuff in, maybe when there's babies.
Moving on to the two of you. Tamara's been living here,
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah.
It's been a new experience for her.
Yeah.
We've seen the energy and the enthusiasm and the enjoyment of travel for both of you.
Yeah, she's
Now,
fantastic, isn't she?
yeah, absolutely. She's fresh observations,
Yeah.
fresh views.
Uh-huh.
Wow, give us some of her initial complaints.
She doesn't, does she complain? I don't think she complains.
Okay, suggestions for improvements.
That's another way of putting a complaint, isn't it? That's a more
I'll
diplomatic
just
way.
reword that. What did Tamara want to change?
She demanded a second desk.
There you go, that's a complaint.
There. This is for her. I don't know if she requested that second desk so she could work here.
Is that a little work?
Yeah. Or if I was just being a nice guy and got it for her. I can't remember. But let's go with the second one. Let's say it was just me. No, she hasn't really complained much about stuff, but we have made some improvements. Got like a shower curtain.
Alaska, going back to your living in the van, where's Alaska's favourite spot?
Where you're sitting. That's where she likes to be
Yeah.
all the time. Or on the driver's seat if she can. But yeah, she's getting old, Alaska. She's going to miss out on the first leg of this next trip, unfortunately, which breaks my heart. But that's mainly because we're going to be flying at some point whilst we're on the road, and we're going to store the Kombi. So that gets complicated with a dog. But she'll be back for one last trip, I think.
That's good to hear. Good
Yeah.
to hear. Part of the team. You've had so many positive experiences, seen so much. I'm not going to dwell on your disasters, but talking about Alaska. Personally, sometimes my mood can reflect the irritability of how something is mechanically running. When you have a breakdown, it kind of puts you in a... Does Alaska know when you have a breakdown and you're trying to sort it out? Does she sense your mood and just go, I'm going to go sit and wait till he sorts it out?
She's pretty good, actually. She's really she's like a therapy dog, you know. She does I think a lot of dogs can do that, and she does do that. She'll sense your mood. She'll come up and she'll like put her paw on your leg.
You're right.
Like,
You're right. Still there. I'm here for you.
calm down, mate. No, she's really good. I think if she could get up and give you a hug, she would.
Oh, that's great. No, but you get that sense. To be honest, Ben, you've been really patient. I just wish you all the best. We have ultimate respect of you not only running a combi, but you're doing this minimalist living. Yeah, you're doing this minimalist living in your van, which is smaller than you think.
Yeah,
and
it's a challenge.
There's a new challenge with Tamara in the van for an extended period, which we all look forward to seeing.
Yeah, I think this next chapter is going to be lots of good energy, lots of just fun times. I'm looking forward to making the videos and sharing it with you guys and you.
Absolutely. But thanks for your time. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Finn and I, you saw us through COVID. We really enjoyed Kombi Life.
Yeah.
That's how we got into it. All right. Thanks so
cheers,
much.
Chris.
All right. Cheers.
See ya.
Okay. Cheers.
See you guys.
See ya. Bye. So I point it at the wheel.
Yeah, just point it at the car as that comes on. Make sure your eyes are looking at the wheel to see if it locks.
Yeah, okay.
Stand opposite down as well. Unfortunately, this brake test wasn't exactly successful. The front brakes did lock as expected because ABS wasn't installed on our Kombi. In fact, it wasn't even commercially available until 1978. This brake test failed because the back brakes didn't lock, and I was hoping that they would. So it looks like we've still got some work to do here. Kombi Crew, boy have I got an update for you. What a disaster we're having. This from an old Gorilla Pod. It's not exactly solid, but I think on the freeway that we're about to drive, it should be fine.
Please consider joining the Kombi Crew. We really do need your support to help create a new adventure series for you. Thanks for your support, and until next time, happy travels.